Hello, my beautiful people out there, and welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be episode 1 of the Quest to Digest series. This is a new segment I'm going to be creating on the channel. It's going to be more of a diary format where we're going to have an ongoing dialogue about digestion, because out of all the things that I want to be known for on YouTube, digestion is by far number one. As somebody who has struggled with digestion their entire life, this is what I'm most passionate about. This is what I am constantly trying to refine on a daily basis. Everybody has their little benchmark of what success feels like on a particular diet protocol that they're currently trying. And for me, I don't care what a diet can do for me if my digestion is not on point. Now, let's be clear. What is good digestion to me? We're going to be talking some potty terms here, so if you are squeamish about this, oh well, get over it. This is some adult talk here, all right? Good digestion. You eat the food, right? It goes in, and usually there's about a 45-minute period. For my research, it takes about 45 minutes for food to go from your stomach through your digestive tract and start to make it down into your colon, okay? We're not going to get super scientific with it, but that is generally how it works, right? So it goes in your stomach, bunch of acid squirts out, and then it starts to break down and go through your small intestine, finally into your colon. So the first step, it goes into your stomach. Now, do you have any discomfort when it first goes into your stomach? Is there heartburn? Is there acid indigestion? Is there a really full gassy feeling where you're burping? That's usually going to take place in the first 30 to 45 minutes, let's say. Now after that, how do you feel about an hour in, an hour and a half in? Do you feel tired? Do you feel sleepy? Do you feel like you have energy? Do you feel like there's something really hard in your stomach for hours and hours and hours? Do you feel super full for hours? Finally, it's going to go down in your colon. Let's say this is anywhere between an hour to 3 hours later, and then this feeling may extend out even up to 12 hours later until you actually go to the toilet and get it out of your body, right? Sometimes even longer than that. Sometimes people aren't using the toilet for days and they're in discomfort for days. So that's going to be kind of the yardstick to how we compare what good digestion is. Do you notice the food at all? Now, for me, when I say good digestion, I eat the food, it goes in, there's no feeling in my stomach. I feel light, I feel good. It goes through my small intestine. I don't have any weird like burning sensations. I don't feel super rock hard full. I don't feel super tired. And then it goes into my colon and it just feels like there's really nothing in there. Now, to date, the only thing that feels perfectly smooth all the way through every freaking time is really benign materials that are generally fiberless. We're talking medium cooked steaks. We're talking sushi, raw fish, not like freaking rice rolls and stuff like that. And typically that's the only thing that I can hang my hat on that will be flawless 99% of the time. And when I go to the bathroom and when it actually leaves my body, there shouldn't be a mess there. It should be 1 or 2 little plops into the toilet, and that's it. There should be 1 wipe, nothing on the toilet paper, flush it down, that's it. 1 roll of toilet paper with flawless digestion to literally last you all month, okay? That to me is perfect digestion. No bloating and no gas the entire day. Now, my digestion is not always perfect. Why is that? Because I don't always eat perfect. Newsflash, I'm a human just like everybody else. Sometimes I eat something with a little peanut butter in it. Sometimes I eat, even chicken can sometimes, I've noticed, give a little bit of backlash, okay? It's still overall really good. And I would say for the past 2 weeks, I've had extremely, extremely good digestion. There's still a little bit of something down in the bottom, like in my lower stomach area that I feel throughout the day. It's very minimal. I would say overall, like 95% to flawless digestion throughout the day. And I'm very happy with it. And I would like to continue refining it. And I think that's what we all got to focus on is it's not going to be perfection always. You know, even stress can kind of mess up your digestion. And another thing too, things that induce stress, like caffeine. That's what I removed the past 2 weeks that significantly improved my diet. I was focused on what I was eating. And actually what I realized was the damn energy drinks that I was consuming every day was I don't know, it was giving me IBS symptoms or something. It was triggering something in my stomach. Maybe it was the adrenaline release that the energy drinks tend to do. And it was actually causing me to go to the bathroom earlier than I normally would. So like your colon's job, for those of you that don't know, is kind of two things. Number one, to reabsorb all the water that's in your stool. And the other thing too is for to allow bacteria to break down some of the fiber and stuff that's in there, and you actually reabsorb some short chain fatty acids in your colon. Like 8% of your daily energy is absorbed through your colon. So not very much. We're not cows. We're not getting like 60 to 80% of our daily energy from our colon. We're not set up that way. So get out of here, vegans. You guys are you're incorrect. But anyway, so another thing, the reason I went vegan in the first place, by the way, back 5.5 years ago, was for better digestion. I've said this many times. And when I realized that no matter which way I ate on the vegan diet, it wasn't going to fix my digestion, I started considering eating animal foods again. And a lot of vegans have given me criticism over the last, year. And they said, well, why didn't you just try something? Why didn't you try some eggs at first? Why didn't you try some oysters at first? And then you could have seen what happened to your digestion. No. It wasn't my digestion wasn't messed up because I wasn't eating some animal foods. It was messed up because I was eating too many plant foods. You need to get that through your head. The fiber, whatever other weird toxins are in those foods, your body is trying to get rid of that. It doesn't want it sitting around in your colon forever for 12 hours to digest so that bacteria can fester and ferment and reabsorb it. It's trying to get it out of your body. And the reason I know that that's a fact is because when I eat mostly animal foods now, and then I go and I try and consume, let's say, even rice sometimes, which doesn't even have fiber in it, but it's carbohydrates. Definitely with green leafy vegetables and other vegetables, broccoli for sure, I will have, again, gas and bloating. So it's not that I needed some animal foods to fix the problem. I needed to get rid of 95% of the plant foods. That's what initially started to fix my digestion and give me immense relief. And I don't think that's because there's something wrong with me. I think your body's natural response to dealing with plant foods and dealing with cellulose in your colon is to allow those bacteria to come in, ferment, and that's what's supposed to happen. That's how it works with animals that are set up that way, with the fermentation chambers and all that stuff. So it wasn't a slight lack of oysters in my diet. No, that's not what it was. Now, I am still experimenting with dairy as much as anybody else. I do eat some butter, and I do drink some whole milk. If I just ate steak all day, I would literally have perfect digestion, and that would just be the end of it. But I am human. Like I said, I do want some variety. I do want some different flavors in there, and I love milk, and I need it for maintaining and gaining weight because I am still mostly on a carnivore type diet. I would say 95% of my calories come from animal foods, not carbohydrate sources. And as I kind of stated earlier, rice can still, even though it's more benign than a lot of other plant foods, it's still not perfect. And I wanted to make a quick note at the end of this video about elimination diets and how I don't think elimination diets are going to solve people's problem when it comes to figuring out what's going on in their digestive system, because elimination diets assume that there's no level to the amount of food that you're consuming that will start to affect you. For instance, I can drink 1 cup of coffee a day and I have perfect digestion. If I start drinking 2 or 3 cups of coffee a day, or if I drink a cup of coffee plus an energy drink a day, my digestion goes terrible, down the toilet, no pun intended. So it's the dose that makes the poison. Remember that. You can't always just assume that like rice, bad. No, what if you have 1 cup of rice? You might be able to handle that. If you have 3 cups, maybe that's where you start to, you break the threshold, and now all of a sudden your digestion becomes terrible. You start getting that bloating, you start getting that gas. I'm still experimenting with milk. I'm like experimenting with the levels of it. If I drink 1 cup with a meal, or if I drink 2 cups with a meal, if there's any relief or, better or worse digestion. So again, play with it. People don't want to hear this because it's not the sexy answer. Like, it's not the sexy answer to tell somebody, hey, you're going to have to experiment for the next 2 years to figure out what's wrong with your digestion. But it is worth it because what else are you going to do? Are you going to sit there in your cubicle at work all bloated up and running to the bathroom 2 or 3 times a day and you're in there for 10 minutes because you're like wiping with that 1-ply toilet paper your work provides you. Terrible. Like, you don't want to be that person. So, I mean, I recommend sticking to it. Stick to the game plan. If you got to eliminate a lot of things, start with the plants. If you're out there, if you're vegan right now, you're trying to figure it out, I'm sorry to tell you this, but if you have bad digestion on a vegan diet, you're never going to fix it. You're never going to fix it. I'm tried for 4.5 years. If I didn't get used to fiber in 4.5 years, then, I mean, what, you want me to go 10 years? Like, it's just not going to work. So consider it. Consider it. If you are vegan, if you're not vegan and you're still consuming like a mixed diet, like, you know, probably one of the worst diets you can eat is like mixed macro diet. Pick one. Pick protein and fat or protein and carbs and low fat. You got to figure out what you're going to eat out there. Personally, right now, I am going with the high fat, high protein, low carb diet. And that seems to be working for me. It seems to be working for me on an energetic level. All the other markers are good. My skin feels good. My muscular performance is pretty good. I'll get a little more into that in another video where, you know, I am finally starting to gain weight again. I'll just put that little note in there. But yeah, so the Quest to Digest series starts now. I'll keep updating you guys. If you have any more questions or specific questions about digestion, put them in the comments below. This is what I am most passionate about. You can tell by the way I'm talking about this. And again, I don't have perfect digestion all the time. And sometimes it trips me out and I got to figure out what is going on. You know, I add something weird in there, but I know a lot of you guys are struggling out there. And to me, this is the key to health. Digestion is the key to health. It is the quickest response that your body can give you on whether or not what you're putting into your body is good or bad for you. You know, we talk about atherosclerosis and calcium in your arteries, plaques and all this stuff like that. You could smoke cigarettes for 30 years and you're not going to have a heart attack until you're like 60 or 70 because, you know, it takes a while for that stuff to build up. You know, if you eat peanuts and peanuts don't agree with your digestive system, guess what? You're going to have cramping and bloating and gas for the next 12 hours. And you should figure that out now. Don't assume that just because it's a plant and plants want to be eaten, that it's going to be good for you. Don't believe all the BS. Trust in your body's markers. Okay. Anyway, guys, hope you liked the video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and stay tuned for more live streams and more videos like this. Peace.